a wealthy second-generation heir who loved diving challenges, aimed to break a world record. He got trapped 60 meters deep in a cave while diving alone. As a professional diver, it took me nearly a full day to rescue him. Yet, he teamed up with the media to accuse me of trying to kill him underwater. Although knocking him unconscious was a last resort, my reputation was severely damaged. The upcoming diving competition I was set for was suspended, and even my professional diving license was revoked. A year later, the heir went diving again and got trapped. And that specific area is a place only I can successfully reach. I had just finished my warm-up exercises when I received an urgent call. Tao, have you seen the news? That heir from the Lin family went solo diving, and now his life is in danger. Of course I know about it. According to diving protocol, you must always dive in pairs to look out for each other. But Lin Chengjun, chasing clout, ignored all advice and went down alone, and what he was attempting was the Luofeng cave, which no one but me has ever successfully entered. As the name suggests, Luofeng cave has a rugged, uneven cave floor, and the rocks are jagged and scattered. It's nearly 7 kilometers long, with the deepest point reaching 82 meters. The deeper you go, the harder it is to maneuver. Even someone with my 12 years of experience almost lost my life there, let alone Lin Chengjun, a greenhorn who's only been diving for a year. The whole internet was watching his live stream, but 5 hours ago, his equipment accidentally fell, and he himself got stuck at a turn in the cave. All the divers sent by the Lin family returned empty-handed, because their skills weren't enough to go that far. They couldn't get any response to their calls either. Desperate to save his son, Mr. Lin found me. I'll give you 5 million. Save my son. I just calmly asked him one thing. If your son has already passed away, or if an accident happens on the way back, am I held responsible? Judging by the last footage from his stream, the spot where he's trapped is the most dangerous part, and the width there only allows one person to pass at a time. I can't guarantee that I can bring him out unharmed. Mr. Lin was silent for a long time, finally sighing and telling me to give it my all. I immediately prepared my gear with my teammate to head down. It was already evening by then, and visibility underwater was getting lower, which meant this rescue mission would be even harder. But saving a life was the priority, based on the oxygen tank Lin Chengjun took down. He wouldn't last through the night. Relying on my memory, I specifically avoided some of the more complex paths. After more than 2 hours, I finally reached where Lin Chengjun was trapped. Relying on my memory, I specifically avoided some of the more complex paths. After more than 2 hours, I finally reached where Lin Chengjun was trapped. His oxygen tank was almost empty. I quickly swapped it for a new one, and through the wireless device, sent the news to Mr. Lin. Upon hearing his son was still alive, the people waiting above cheered. I took out the grinder I prepared and started chipping away at the rock pinning Lin Chengjun's arm. Due to the lack of blood flow and oxygen, his entire arm had gone numb. To prevent him from potentially losing the arm, I applied more and more force, consuming oxygen faster and faster. Finally, after half an hour, Lin Chengjun was able to break free. Just as I was about to take him back, he silently tried to keep going forward. Quickly grabbed him, using hand signals to tell him we had to go back, but he shook me off and insisted on moving forward. His point was, he was already halfway there, and he couldn't give up now. Not to mention, visibility at night is much worse than during the day. And the deeper you go into this cave, the more complex the path becomes. The oxygen tanks I brought couldn't possibly last that long. Furthermore, one of Lin Chengjun's arms was already useless. The oxygen tanks I brought couldn't possibly last that long. Furthermore, one of Lin Chengjun's arms was already useless. Seeing I couldn't convince him, I forcibly dragged him back. He started struggling violently, not only knocking away my flashlight, but also trying to rip off my oxygen mask. In that cramped space, we got into a fight. We were bound to get stuck again. If we had to call another rescue team, we'd have to find people from abroad. I couldn't guarantee I could hold out until then. I gave my partner a few hand signals, signaling him to help me, and then I pretended to give in. Catching Lin Chengjun off guard, I snuck up behind him and knocked him out. Although fainting underwater, could potentially cause brain damage. Given the two choices, I had no other option. I took out a rope, tied him to my feet, and carried the weight forward. Naturally, it was much more exhausting than before. 2 hours later, I was completely drained, and my backup oxygen was running low. With my last bit of strength, I pushed Lin Chongjun up to the surface. By the time I surfaced and got to shore, my whole body was aching. I was dizzy and felt nauseous. After resting in the hospital for several days, I finally started to recover. Lin Chongjun was rescued in time. His arm was saved, and he woke up naturally after a few days in a coma. Mr. Lin brought major media reporters, fulfilled his promise, and kept thanking me sincerely. I thought the matter was over. But 3 days later, Lin Chongjun woke up. It was him. Down there. He tried to choke me to death. His family was powerful and influential, so this statement immediately caused a huge uproar online. Countless reporters swarmed the hospital room. Afraid of missing the scoop, Lin Chongjun, pale-faced, spun a lie for the cameras. As everyone knows, Chen Tao, the diver, is currently the first person in our country to break the world record. The Luofeng cave I entered this time is exactly the place where he set his world record. So when he saw me underwater, his first reaction was to scold me for challenging his record. I know Chen Tao has an international competition coming up soon, and he definitely didn't want anyone stealing his thunder at this time. I was only a third of the way away from completing the entire challenge. But Chen Tao insisted on dragging me back. At that time I had plenty of oxygen, and my stamina was fine. If he hadn't kept stopping me, I definitely would have finished it. But to make me give up completely, Chen Tao deliberately trapped me at the corner, causing my arm to be crushed by rocks, cutting off circulation. It was almost ruined. Seeing I wouldn't listen to reason, he even tried to kill me. My head was attacked by him from behind. Fainting underwater is already prone to oxygen deprivation, causing brain damage. As an experienced diver, he couldn't have not known that. He just wanted to make sure I'd never be able to dive again, so his record would stand forever. I called you all here today to let everyone see Chen Tao's true colors. And I will definitely have him thrown in jail. As he spoke, the smirk on his face grew more exaggerated. His complexion hadn't fully recovered, but his eyes were filled with malice toward me. I hadn't even been discharged from the hospital yet when a swarm of reporters rushed in. I was surrounded by countless microphones. Mr. Chen, may I ask, do you agree with what the young master of the Lin family said? Did you really, in order to protect your record, disregard someone else's life? I shook my head and revealed the truth to the reporters. If you can find other divers willing to go in, you'll naturally see that at the corner there is a patch of rock that was manually chipped away. Also, Mr. Lin was very uncooperative at the time. If I had let him continue forward, he would have surely died. Knocking him out was the last resort. These things I had already reported to Mr. Lin. Just as I finished speaking, Mr. Lin stormed in aggressively. He pointed at my nose and scolded, "Are you crazy? How dare you lay a hand on my son? No wonder you asked me before going down. If an accident happened, would you be held responsible?" His chest heaved violently. The bodyguards beside him were also glaring at me with rage. I shifted my gaze and saw my teammate Suan, who had been through life and death with me. He looked at me with a guilty conscience. Young Master Lin was lucky this time to have escaped death. If something had really happened, the consequences would have been unthinkable. You really went too far back there. If I hadn't stopped you, you might have actually killed him. In that instant I realized Lin Chongjun had set a trap for me and even dragged the people around me into it. I saved him. Yet he repaid my kindness with enmity. He claimed I tried to murder him. What defense could I possibly have? There were only 3 of us underwater. Both of them were testifying against me, and with the Lin family's ability to cover the sky with one hand, I had almost no chance of winning. I gave a bitter smile and could only say helplessly, "I have a clear conscience and am willing to accept any investigation." You a clear conscience? I gave you so much money, and you actually wanted my son's life. How could someone like you be fit to be a diver? People like you will eventually betray and use your teammates, treating them as stepping stones. I will definitely have your diving license permanently revoked, so you'll never be able to compete again, and never be able to dive again. I was soon taken away by the police for questioning. The news of these interviews also caused a huge stir online. Everyone was cursing me. They say you can know a person's face but not their heart. I remember, he once went underwater with a student. Did that student end up in a vegetative state? Maybe. He realized the student was more talented than him and framed him on purpose. My daughter learned diving from him before. Good thing nothing happened. What they said was indeed true. But that student was because he violated the rules and went underwater without permission. His oxygen tank malfunctioned. If I hadn't discovered it in time, he wouldn't have even survived. I've finally seen it clearly now. When the public thinks you're good, I'm a great hero. When they turn against you, you're worth less than a blade of grass. The coaching team came to see me. I felt like I had found my backbone and hurriedly told them the incident exactly as it happened. But the head coach sighed. You know, fame brings trouble. The team you're competing against this time is full of rivals from all over the world. If they take you down, their chances of winning increase. And to be blunt, that son of the Lin family is a notorious playboy. He came to us for private lessons before and drove several coaches away by nitpicking. His dive this time was nothing more than an attempt to prove how great he is. But he couldn't hide the embarrassment of getting stuck in the cave. He couldn't save face. So he had to make you the scapegoat. The police have already interrogated me once. It's hard to gather evidence for this, and their stance is unclear. Upon hearing the coach's words, I broke out in a cold sweat. I originally thought that as long as the police intervened, they would eventually clear my name. But if Lin Chengjun keeps pulling strings behind the scenes, my life is over. The head coach thought for a moment, trying to comfort me. I'll step in and negotiate an apology with Mr. Lin first, to help them cool off. At least that kid Lin Chengjun survived safely. If you swallow your pride, you might get a lighter sentence. At this point, there's no better option. Compared to the truth, I need to protect myself first, so I hired a lawyer and took the initiative to apologize to the Lin family, but Mr. Lin refused to see me at all. Lin Chengjun was even more arrogant, bragging that he would make me pay. The video of me apologizing for knocking him out was posted online again. This time, it caused a massive uproar online. A large portion of netizens believed that since I apologized, I must be feeling guilty. Although, there was a small group of supporters who firmly believed there was more to the story. They firmly believed there was more to the story, but they still couldn't suppress the wave of paid trolls. The head coach thought for a moment, trying to comfort me. I'll step in and negotiate an apology with Mr. Lin first, to help them cool off. At least that kid Lin Chengjun survived safely. If you swallow your pride, you might get a lighter sentence. At this point, there's no better option. Compared to the truth, I need to protect myself first, so I hired a lawyer and took the initiative to apologize to the Lin family, but Mr. Lin refused to see me at all. Lin Chengjun was even more arrogant, bragging that he would make me pay. The video of me apologizing for knocking him out was posted online again. This time, it caused a massive uproar online. A large portion of netizens believed that since I apologized, I must be feeling guilty. Although, there was a small group of supporters who firmly believed there was more to the story, they still couldn't suppress the wave of paid trolls. The Lin family must have bought a lot of trolls to stir up trouble. Many burner accounts were complaining in the comments about how expensive and hard it was to get a spot in my class, and that I was arrogant and only liked to show off my achievements. All the comments defending me were buried at the very bottom. Many netizens who didn't know the truth cursed me for being ungrateful. They were gloating over my misfortune, saying I had offended someone I shouldn't have. Diving enthusiasts also stood up, supporting the athletes they favored and cheering them on. Many even accused me of cheating in competitions. They angrily cursed, saying I had too many innocent souls on my conscience. No one cared about my clarification. At this point, everyone only wanted to believe what they wanted to believe. Even my colleagues who were close to me had their comments dismissed as me trying to whitewash my reputation. Major marketing accounts jumped in to stir the pot. Major marketing accounts jumped in to stir the pot. I had no concrete evidence to prove my innocence, so I was just being cursed at relentlessly. Lin Chongjun kept pressuring the police, demanding they arrest me as soon as possible. He also spent a fortune on the media, demanding they destroy my reputation completely. The incident was like a fire fan by the wind, burning out of control. My coaches, colleagues, family and friends were all affected. Seeing my family, who used to be proud of me, suffering from everyone's attacks every day, I couldn't bear it. In the end, I chose to return the 5 million and voluntarily announced that I would never work in diving again. This compromise of mine only made everyone more convinced that I was guilty, even though the police didn't find any concrete evidence and had to release me. My professional diving license was permanently revoked. The day I was released from the detention center, the Lin father and son brought reporters to surround me. Lin Chongjun had fully recovered, and his disdain for me was overflowing. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for offending the wrong person. A mere diver dares to lay a hand on me? He patted my shoulder again, grinning cheekily. Since you can't be a diver anymore, I will definitely break your records, surpass you, and win glory for the country. Consider it a debt you owe me. Looking at his cocky attitude, I suppressed my anger, barely stopping myself from hitting him. Just half a month ago when I saw him underwater, he was so panicked and begging me to save him. And now, he has ruined my life. But in front of the media reporters, I couldn't say anything. Mr. Lin's cunning eyes scanned me up and down, and with a tone of elder's lecture, he had ruined my life. But in front of the media reporters, I couldn't say anything. Mr. Lin's cunning eyes, after looking me up and down, with the tone of an elder lecturing me. Luckily, my son is unharmed this time. Otherwise, you would never have gotten away so easily. To live a quiet life from now on. Fame is not worth mentioning. Only by living honestly can one go far. I was even more annoyed, even though he was weeping bitterly at the time, begging me to save his son, calling me Teacher Chun afterwards, and even said he would pay a high price to hire me as his son's coach. But the result? He doesn't care about the truth either. The reporter's microphone was shoved in my face again. I didn't say a word and pushed my way through. Let's just end this mess. But I didn't expect. Lin Chongjun still wouldn't let me go. He bragged about it all over the internet. My technique back then wasn't standard. It's hard to imagine that someone like him, so that he could break the world record. Soon, netizens claiming to be my students popped up, jumped out and said, what I taught him back then were all wrong moves. What I taught him back then were all wrong moves. And those who had partnered with me, saying I had stolen their credit several times. Some even said, every time I dive, I make my teammates. Every time I dive, I make my teammates. I didn't care whether they lived or died. I didn't care whether they lived or died. Everyone was shouting, should have my reputation completely revoked, so I don't have to change my name in the future to continue causing trouble for people. I found Suan. He had become Lin Chongjuan's private coach. He spread his hands, asking me to let this matter go. You know, my family had some issues. I was in urgent need of money, so he wouldn't help me clear my name. Even if the people around me knew I was being wronged, were also useless in the face of current public opinion. Other than pretending, there's no better way. I took my previous savings and flew to a small city and registered a new account. My daily routine was to stay out of the spotlight, explaining some knowledge about diving. And my popularity slowly started to grow. I make enough from monthly ads to get by. Until a year later, I received another call from Mr. Lin. Lin Chongjun was trapped in that cave again. I took my previous savings and flew to a small city and registered a new account. My daily routine was to stay out of the spotlight, explaining some knowledge about diving. And my popularity slowly started to grow. I make enough from monthly ads to get by. Until a year later, I received another call from Mr. Lin. Lin Chongjun was trapped in that cave again. He was well prepared this time, and the oxygen tank was sufficient. Since the incident, 3 days have passed. Those rescue experts hired from abroad, because they aren't familiar with the area, several rescue plans have already failed. Mr. Lin is worried that if this drags on any longer, Lin Chongjun would really be there. So he came to me again. I sneered. I hurriedly refused. Has Mr. Lin forgotten? I was also accused a year ago. Is the murderer who tried to kill your son? Now you want me to save someone again? That wouldn't be very good, would it? What if something happens to your son? I wouldn't be able to clear my name even if I jumped into the Yellow River. The voice on the other end was choked with sobs. His tone was frantic. I definitely won't blame you this time. Before he could finish his sentence, I hung up the phone directly. A capitalist's words. How could I possibly trust him? I hung up the phone directly. A capitalist's words. How could I possibly trust him? That afternoon, while I was editing a video, there was a sudden knock on the door. Through the peephole, I saw Mr. Lin leading a group. A huge group of people stood behind him. Looks like I had to open the door. Just as I opened the door, Mr. Lin grabbed my hands tightly. Teacher Chen, please save my son. The neighbors nearby had long been attracted by this spectacle. The entire hallway was packed tight. I hurriedly pulled my hand away. You'll have to find someone else for this. Mr. Lin hurriedly took out a bank card and shoved it into my hand. I'll pay 10 million this time, and I will absolutely not ask for it back. The reporters nearby kept filming. The neighbors realized what was happening too. That same guy from last time. To break the record. Rich kid, right? I heard he practiced specifically for this time. After a year, he was too arrogant. Having been trapped once before, and he still hasn't learned his lesson. But this Chen Tao, didn't he try to kill his son? Why did he come to my door again? I don't want my peaceful life was disrupted again. I hurriedly pushed the card back. It's not that I won't save him, it's that I'm no longer qualified. Whispers started up around us again. Oh, I heard Chen Tao's qualifications had all their licenses revoked. This person is really thick-skinned. Aren't you afraid that when the time comes, if Chen Tao really did pull some tricks to take revenge on his son? What the hell do you know? If you ask me, there must be a hidden story behind what happened last year. If Chen Tao is really like what they say, he couldn't have stayed in the spotlight for so many years. Who knows what capitalists, what kind of tricks are they pulling behind the scenes? That's true. If he really were an enemy, it's even more unreasonable to ask him for rescue now. But at the time, the other diver, didn't they testify? Could this matter possibly be fake? Who can't commit perjury? Besides, didn't the authorities fail to find any solid evidence? If there really were a problem, how could they possibly let Chen Tao off? Hearing these discussions, Mr. Lin was starting to lose face. He said to me urgently, Teacher Chen, I might have had some misunderstandings about you back then. I really can't find anyone else now. I might have had some misunderstandings about you back then. I really can't find anyone else now. You're the one familiar with that area. Please help us one more time. He's my only son. If he dies, I won't be able to go on living either. He said that and was about to kneel down and kowtow to me. Reporters raised their cameras to start filming. I hurriedly helped him up. I told you, it's not that I'm unwilling, it's that I truly can't save him. Mr. Lin seemed to think of something. Hurriedly assured me, don't worry. I will definitely get your diving license reinstated, and your reputation. I'll compensate you for all of that. I will do everything in my power to restore your reputation. How about I give you 20 million? 30 million is fine too. He's at his wit's end just like last year. In front of me, just a panicked, helpless father. I still kept my lips pursed. I didn't agree. Didn't they say it was all a misunderstanding? Human life is at stake. Could he really be that petty? If he saves young Master Lin this time, people would definitely be grateful to him. He wouldn't be this pathetic. Forget it. You guys are so self-righteous. You guys go save him then. His future was ruined by others, and still ask him to save someone? What if the Lin family is playing some dirty tricks again? Mr. Lin stated to the camera. No matter what accidents occur during this rescue, all responsibility will be fully borne by the Lin family. He looked at me with eager, pleading eyes. I let out a sigh. I can't dive anymore. Everyone was stunned. Mr. Lin was even more skeptical. He hurriedly promised, don't worry. I'll provide you with the best equipment. And you can bring anyone you want down with you. Even if you haven't dived for a year. But I believe that with your experience, you'll definitely be able to adapt quickly. I shook my head, took out several reports from the room. Clearly stated on it, my physical condition is no longer fit for dives deeper than 15 meters. Last time to save your son. He clashed with me, damaging my diving equipment and causing my ear pressure to spike. Moreover, carrying him to the surface put a severe strain on my body. A large part of the reason I resigned was because of this. I'm no longer fit to dive. When Mr. Lin heard this, he was struck dumb with shock. Nearly collapsing to the ground, the neighbors started to pity me instead. Damn. None of this was ever reported back then. Chen Tao ruined his own career just to save his son. And they still treated him like this? No wonder they say no good deed goes unpunished. Ordinary people can never beat the wealthy. He brought this situation upon himself. Mr. Lin nearly fainted, begging me desperately. This is all a lie, isn't it? You must have made it all up just to avoid trouble. I beg you, go save my son. At worst, I'll make him kneel and apologize to you and become your apprentice. But these words didn't stir the slightest ripple in my heart. Since the Lins never believed me anyway, I couldn't be bothered to argue. I waved my hand to shoo him away, seeing there was no hope. Mr. Lin's hypocritical mask slipped. He flew into a rage, demanding his bodyguards drag me out. You're the only one who can save my son now. I'm only here because I'm giving you a chance. Don't be ungrateful. Don't push your luck. Even if you're really injured and can't dive, so what? Just get my son out. And even if you die doing it, my Lin family will give you a grand burial. He was fine last time. How could he be so weak? Just from saving my son? Who knows how you even got your diving certification? He shouted more and more excitedly. The reporters looked at each other, unsure if they should keep filming. I let his bodyguards pull at me. I had already made myself very clear. I can't save your son. Even if I went down there, I'd be dead before I even reached him. I don't care about that. Your safety is not my concern. You must bring my son back to me. The neighbors couldn't stand it anymore and started calling him out for being heartless. Just then, Suan pushed through the crowd. He looked at me with guilt, then testified to the reporters. I took money from Lin Chengjun back then, which is why I intentionally slandered Brother Tao. Mr. Lin's face changed drastically. He hurriedly ordered the reporters to stop filming. The bodyguards tried to cover their cameras, but Suan dodged them. Standing within the circle of neighbors, Suan said every word clearly. When Brother Tao and I went down, Lin Chengjun was already trapped at the corner. His arm was completely immobile. Brother Tao spent over half an hour chiseling away the rock. Because of that, he used up almost an entire tank of oxygen. Otherwise, he wouldn't have run out of air at the end. But Lin Chengjun insisted on going further. He ignored our warnings and attacked Brother Tao. Given his physical state and equipment, going any further would have meant certain death. Brother Tao had no choice but to knock him out. I dare say, if the Lin family is in this position today, they brought it on themselves. Without Brother Tao's decision, Lin Chengjun would never have made it out alive. The whole crowd was in an uproar. The truth I had told at the beginning had been dismissed as lies. Now everyone, hearing this simple, honest testimony, couldn't sit still. Hearing this simple, honest testimony, they couldn't sit still, just to show off. He almost cost someone else their life. Haha, that's karma. If only he'd known, he wouldn't have acted that way. He was given a chance, but he didn't take it. Suan bowed deeply to me. I'm sorry. I really shouldn't have slandered you for money back then. Over this past year, I've finally seen Lin Chengjun's true colors. He never saw us ordinary people as human beings. In his eyes, I was just a dog. During the year I trained him, he constantly threatened my family. If I had known, I would have stood on the side of justice. He grew more emotional as he spoke, tears streaming down his face. Everyone present was moved. I'd heard long ago that the Lin family's eldest son was a playboy who didn't treat ordinary people like people. He even killed a mother and daughter in a hit-and-run before. My friend worked at their company. Unpaid overtime. Constant nitpicking. My friend worked at their company. Unpaid overtime. Constant nitpicking. They force people to quit to save on severance pay. Why help such a disgusting family? Dying there is just justice served. Hearing these words, Mr. Lin panicked, shouting at Suan not to slander his family's reputation. But Suan just clenched his fists. Indignant. Back then you watched your son treat me like a dog, trampling on me, and you didn't say a word, did you? With his mediocre skills, he still dreamed of reaching the top, bragging everywhere. I knew he wouldn't listen to anything, just doing whatever he wanted. It's no wonder he got trapped underwater. Let me tell you, Boss Lin, I'm saying all this in public today, and I've put everything on the line. My parents are gone. I have nothing left to fear. Your son insisted on diving this time. I'm just here to watch the show. You? Mr. Lin clutched his chest, unable to say a word for a long time. Mr. Lin clutched his chest, unable to say a word for a long time. The reporters nearby, eager for a headline, filmed it all. Mr. Lin stomped his feet, threatening any reporter who dared to leak the news, vowing to ruin their careers. I looked around at the people present and asked him, "Can you really cover so many mouths?" Immediately, neighbors chimed in. "I've already shared the video. I'm a freelancer anyway. I'll upload it to the internet. What can you do to me?" Such ugly faces should have been exposed long ago. The one that should be shut down is the Lin family company. With the crowd incensed, Mr. Lin didn't dare stay any longer. Under the protection of his bodyguards, he scurried away. Lin Chengjun still hadn't been rescued, but online a massive wave of public opinion had already erupted. This time it was all directed at the Lin family. The long overdue truth made netizens start apologizing to me. Someone said I trained under teacher Chen for 3 months. He really is a very capable and responsible teacher. Lin Chengjun still hadn't been rescued, but online a massive wave of public opinion had already erupted. This time it was all directed at the Lin family. The long overdue truth made netizens start apologizing to me. I trained under teacher Chen for 3 months. He really is a very capable and responsible teacher. My son's idol is teacher Chen Tao. He had always wanted to go and learn diving from him. I thought he was too young before, thinking I'd wait a few more years. I didn't expect this to completely shatter my son's dream. You finally turned against them. Last year, I didn't even dare to criticize a fool like Lin Chengjun. If he could complete the challenge alone, I'd be a monkey. If he could complete the challenge alone, I'd be a monkey. If he could complete the challenge alone, then I could go diving too. Support clearing Chen Tao's name. Give him back his innocence. Seeing everyone's support, a warm current surged in my heart. A year's worth of grievances seemed to be completely released in this moment. No matter what, at least from now on, I can stand tall and live with my head held high. Perhaps unable to withstand the public pressure, President Lin was the first to step forward and apologize. At the same time, with tears in his eyes, he expressed his hope that I could let bygones be bygones and save his son. In the end, I chose to assist online, guiding an experienced diver down. I communicated with him via video and headset. Saving a life is a noble deed, especially with public opinion reaching such a fever pitch. By stepping in to save him, I was demonstrating my own magnanimity. I also sincerely hoped that the little brat would be rescued. He still owed me an apology. With my guidance, the diver went in more smoothly than before. But having experience yourself is a completely different matter. He hit many dead ends along the way. For hours later, we finally managed to locate Lin Chengjun's position. He had gone 2 kilometers further than last time, still stuck in a crevice in the rocks. Having not eaten for 4 days, his face was pale. I patiently taught the diver how to avoid further injury and bring him out. The whole internet breathed a sigh of relief. After all, it was a matter of life and death. No matter how much people hated him, they still hoped he would be safe. President Lin was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. Finally, Lin Chengjun was able to move freely. President Lin was moved to tears of joy and immediately took that bank card from before and shoved it into my hand. President Lin was moved to tears of joy and immediately took that bank card from before and shoved it into my hand. You are the savior of our entire family. But this time, the rock cave we chiseled caused a small-scale collapse. I shouted for the diver to get out of the way, but in a moment of distraction, Lin Chengjun swam further ahead. Everyone was stunned by his actions. The diver frantically pulled at him to signal him, but Lin Chengjun refused without a second thought. I knew the story from a year ago was repeating itself. This time he was only 3 kilometers away from his destination. He clearly wasn't willing to give up. President Lin was also dumbfounded, grabbing my walkie-talkie and shouting for his son to come back immediately. But he forgot that his son couldn't hear him. At that moment, the cave collapsed further. The path that was passable was now blocked. Lin Chengjun and the diver were completely separated. If Lin Chengjun couldn't reach the end, there was no way he could turn back and get out. If Lin Chengjun couldn't reach the end, there was no way he could turn back and get out. After I stated this conclusion, President Lin collapsed to the ground. I told the diver to throw the waterproof headset to Lin Chengjun. I would teach him how to swim out the last stretch. But in the final footage captured by the camera, Lin Chengjun made a gesture of refusal. Since he was determined to go his own way, I really had no better way to help. There were still 15 bins ahead. Given his current physical strength and blind confidence, it would be very hard for him to get out. President Lin waited at the finish line all night. As the sun rose, there was still no sign of Lin Chengjun. He once again sent an elite diver in. As expected, Lin Chengjun was indeed stuck again. And this time due to the unique structure, there was no way to chisel through the rock. All the experts calculated that if they forced it, it would cause the entire cave to collapse. The only way was to amputate Lin Chengjun's leg. The only way was to amputate Lin Chengjun's leg. Compared to losing his life, this was already a good solution. But this proposal was quickly overturned. Performing surgery underwater is extremely difficult. No one could guarantee that there wouldn't be massive bleeding during the procedure, endangering his life. President Lin was completely frantic. He put on a diving suit, determined to go down and find his son. At the first opening, he couldn't get through because he was too big. He was eventually dragged out by the divers, nearly losing his life in the process. Meanwhile, public opinion online reached a peak. Everyone agreed that they shouldn't waste so many public resources on someone who wasn't worth it. The Lin family's actions caused several stock market crashes, and their capital chain broke. President Lin was no longer able to gather those elite divers. Finally, he was the only one left on the shore, a lonely figure. Sunsets and moonrises passed, and time moved on day by day. The topics surrounding the Lin family slowly lost their heat. It had been a month since Lin Chengjun was trapped. I didn't know if he was still alive. In the endless darkness, I wondered if he had ever regretted the freedom he had thrown away so many times with his own hands. I opened my live stream and continued my online teaching. I turned off the stream, and on the screen, the last comment was still flickering. Brother Tao will trust you from now on. Outside the window, the night was deep, and the shadow of the Luofeng cave seemed to still weigh on my heart. But I knew some things were far from truly over. Lin Chengjun had been trapped in the cave for a full month. The official rescue team had long since withdrawn. The Lin family empire had collapsed. Lin's father was being hounded by business rivals, and the company's capital chain had completely snapped. The once powerful wealthy family had become the laughingstock of the city overnight. I thought this grudge would end with the sealing of the cave. But the evil in human nature is far more dangerous than the undercurrents underwater. 3 days later, in the middle of the night, I was awakened by a frantic pounding on my door. Standing outside the peephole was a soaked, pale-faced Lin's father. His hair was disheveled, his suit covered in mud, completely devoid of his former dignity, like a stray dog with nowhere to run. I opened the door and he lunged in, kneeling before me, grabbing my pant legs tightly. His voice hoarse with crying. "Teacher Chan, please, Chengjun is still alive. He's still alive." My heart skipped a beat, but I immediately hardened my expression. President Lin, the rescue team confirmed. The passage collapse was unsolvable. Besides, my body is damaged. I can't dive into deep water. I'm not asking you to dive. I'm not asking you to go to your death. Lin's father reached into his coat, pulled out a waterproof satellite phone, the screen still showing a faint signal. He used the remaining emergency equipment to dial a private satellite number. He only said one sentence. "Deepest part of Luofeng cave. Contains your secret from back then." This sentence was like an ice needle, stabbing deep into my temple. When I broke the world record at Luofeng cave back then, there was indeed a secret I had never told anyone else. That was the darkest night of my career, and also the scar I never wanted to touch again in my life. He's talking nonsense. Get out right now. I'm not leaving, even if I die, I'm not leaving. I know. You were hiding something from everyone back then. Cheng Jun has already found what you hid in the cave. That is your lifeline. If you don't save him, you'll regret it. He'll make everything public, ruining your reputation. It'll be worse than last year. I shoved him away, my heart pounding. 12 years ago, 82 meters deep in the cave, I had indeed left a sealed, waterproof box. Inside wasn't gold or treasure, but a recording that could destroy everything I had, along with an accident report. This matter I had never told a second soul. How did Lin Chengjun know? Get out. My voice trembled, but I remained firm. I have no secrets, and I won't save him again. Seeing this, Lin's father suddenly pulled a fruit knife from his pocket and held it to his own throat. Suddenly, he pulled a fruit knife from his pocket and held it to his own throat. Chen Tao, he's my only son. If you don't save him, I'll die right here. Once the police seal off the site and investigate the cave, your secret won't stay hidden either. In the standoff, my phone suddenly rang. It was an unknown number. When I answered, a weak, raspy, yet incredibly familiar voice came through. It was Lin Chengjun. Chen Tao, stop pretending. I found what you hid all those years ago. If you don't save me, I'll hit the send button and let the whole internet know that you're the dirtiest diver of them all. The call was abruptly cut off, but that sinister voice coiled around my ears like a viper. I finally understood. Lin Chengjun wasn't just blindly challenging the cave. From the very beginning, he was after my secret. I collapsed onto the sofa, memories flooding back like a tide. 12 years ago, I was a young competitive diver, and with my senior and partner Luofeng, we set out to break the world record at Luofeng Cave. We were mentor and student, brothers, the people who trusted each other most. That day, the underwater currents were treacherous. Luofeng's oxygen tank suddenly leaked. He tried his best to signal for help, but at that moment, I was already near the deepest part of the cave, just one step away from the world record. I hesitated for 3 seconds. Those 3 seconds were all it took. Luofeng sank into the darkness, never to come back up. I finished the challenge alone, broke the world record, and became a national hero, but I lived the rest of my life in guilt. I sealed the truth of the accident, Luofeng's final plea for help, in that waterproof box, hidden in Luofeng Cave, in a secret crevice 82 meters down. Intending to take it to my grave, I told the world that Luofeng had died in an accidental cave collapse. This secret has been the greatest shackle of my life, and now it's the fatal leverage Lin Chengjun is using against me. Suan rushed over overnight after hearing the news, seeing me so distraught. He stomped his feet in frustration. Suan rushed over overnight after hearing the news, seeing me so distraught. He stomped his feet in frustration. Tao, don't let him threaten you. Lin Chengjun has lost his mind. Even if he found the box, in his condition, he might not make it out alive. I closed my eyes, my voice bitter. He knows the cave structure. He's been preparing for a year, and he has emergency satellite equipment. He's betting on the fact that I won't risk it. Then you still can't go down there. Tao, wake up. Your ears, your lungs, your joints. That rescue mission last year caused permanent damage. Have you forgotten what the doctor said? If you dive deeper than 15 meters, the water pressure will cause such pain you'll pass out instantly. If you go down now, you're not going to save anyone. You're going to your death. I looked at the pitch-black night sky outside and gave a bitter laugh. I have no choice. Luofeng has already died once because of me. I can't let him be dug up and exploited after his death, and I certainly can't let my secret destroy everything I've worked so hard to win back. At dawn, I made my decision. I was going to dive. At dawn, I made my decision. I was going to dive, not to save Lin Chengjun, but to retrieve my secret and give Luofeng some closure. I contacted my old coaching team, used every connection I had, and gathered the top-tier pressure-resistant diving gear. I took the strongest ear pressure balancing injection. The doctor said with this shot, I could manage a dive of at most 80 meters. If I stayed longer, I'd go completely deaf, or even suffer an intracranial hemorrhage and die on the spot. Chen Tao, think this through. My old coach said with red eyes, you have your reputation now. Your record is safe. You've already won. There's no need to gamble your life for a villain like Lin Chengjun. Coach, I'm not doing this for redemption. I put on my diving suit, touched the diving badge on my chest, and leaped back into the waters of Luofeng cave. The icy water enveloped me. The familiar feeling of suffocation rushing in. A year ago, I gave everything to save someone here, only to be bitten back. I gave everything to save someone here, only to be bitten back. A year later, I returned to hell, just to protect a buried secret. After 2 collapses, the cave was narrower and more dangerous than before. Debris could fall at any moment, and visibility was less than half a meter. Relying on memory and my headlamp, I groped my way deeper. A needle-like pain shot through my ear bones. Every meter I descended felt like a hammer was smashing into my skull. 2 hours later, I finally reached the spot where I'd hidden the box, and Lin Chengjun was trapped in a crevice next to the alcove, barely clinging to life. When he saw me, his cloudy eyes suddenly lit up, a crazed smile curling his lips. "Chen Tao, you really came. I knew you wouldn't dare gamble." His oxygen tank was long empty, and he was surviving on a thin, hair-like emergency oxygen tube. His body was wedged in the rocks, unable to move, his skin pale from long exposure to the water. But the malice in his eyes hadn't faded at all. I ignored him and reached into the alcove for the box. It was empty. "Looking for this?" Lin Chengjun struggled to lift his hand, clutching the black waterproof box. "I got it a long time ago, with one light press. Your secret will be all over the internet." My heart sank. I moved closer to him step by step. "Lin Chengjun, give it to me." "I can give it to you," he wheezed, saying each word slowly. "Get me out of here. Admit you murdered Zhaofeng, and admit all your records are fake." He didn't want to live. He wanted to make my life a living hell. "Give it back." Looking at his twisted face, rage and hatred surged to my head. Last year, I saved him out of conscience. This year, I came to save myself. But even now, he was still trying to drag me to hell with him. "In your dreams," I said coldly. "I won't save you, and I won't apologize. Then we'll go together." Lin Chengjun laughed maniacally, his finger poised to hit the send button on the satellite phone. "Your secret will be exposed too. Chen Tao, I'm going to ruin you. You'll carry this infamy for the rest of your life." The moment he pressed the button, I lunged forward and knocked the satellite phone out of his hand. In the cramped space, we started wrestling again. Although he was weak, he fought back with his last ounce of strength. He reached out to tear off my oxygen mask. The sharp rocks cut into my arms. Blood began to cloud the water. The pain in my eardrums grew more intense. My vision began to blur. I knew I didn't have much time left. I held Lin Chengjun down tightly. I snatched the waterproof box from his hands. Then, with all my remaining strength, I dragged him out from the rock crevice. He was stunned. He looked at me in disbelief. "Why did you save me?" "I'm not you." I gasped for air. My voice was cold. "Why did you save me?" "I'm not saving you." I gasped for air. My voice was cold. "I'm keeping you alive, so you can face justice. I want you to watch. I won't be defeated by you." As I dragged Lin Chengjun back, the cave suddenly shook violently. The third massive collapse was coming. Countless boulders came crashing down, blocking the path we had come from. Ahead there was only one way left, a narrow, uncharted underground river. "We're doomed," Lin Chengjun screamed in despair. But I suddenly calmed down. I stared at that dark river. A thought flashed through my mind. Zhaofeng's old notebook. He had once speculated that deep in the Luofeng cave, there was an underground river connecting to the open sea. It's just that no one had ever dared to try it. This is our only way out. I dragged Lin Chengjun and plunged into the dark river. The current was swift. The river was full of hidden dangers. Relying on my remaining consciousness and experience, I dodged the sharp rocks. My eardrums finally gave way. After a sharp pain, I lost my hearing completely. My eardrums finally gave way. After a sharp pain, I lost my hearing completely. I had become deaf, but I didn't stop. I grabbed Lin Chengjun tightly, clutching the waterproof box, and swam desperately toward the light. I don't know how long I swam. When I surfaced again, I had reached the shallows of the outer sea. The rescue team's speedboat was waiting there. I pushed Lin Chengjun toward the medics, and then everything went black. I passed out completely. When I woke up again, I was lying in a hospital bed. My ears were wrapped in thick bandages. The world was silent. Suan was sitting by the bed. He was in tears. He placed a file in front of me. It was Lin Chengjuan's interrogation record, along with all the truth the police had uncovered. So that was it. Lin Chengjun had long ago used the old files to find the suspicious points in Zhao Feng's death. He challenged the cave from the very beginning just to find my secret and use it to blackmail me, to destroy me, and reclaim the glory that belonged to him. The reason he was able to find the waterproof box so precisely was because Zhao Feng's sister, Zhao Shui, had been secretly helping him all along. Zhao Shui believed that I was the one who caused her brother's death. He had hated me for 12 years. He sold Zhao Feng's notebook to Lin Chengjun just to use Lin Chengjuan's hands to expose my crimes. The hospital room door was pushed open. Zhao Shui stood at the door, her face pale. She was holding Zhao Feng's diary. She handed the diary to me. Her voice trembled. My brother's diary says, that day the oxygen tank leaked. It was his own unauthorized modification of the equipment. He even said in the end that he didn't blame you. He wanted you to live a good life, to fulfill his dream. I opened the diary. The familiar handwriting came into view. Every page was filled with his passion for diving and his trust in me. On the last page, he had written before the accident, Chen Tao, if anything happens to me, don't blame yourself, don't carry too much weight. Keep diving for me. Stay true to your original intention and respect life. Tears instantly blurred my vision. It's been 12 years. I've lived with guilt and shackles for 12 years. It's been 12 years. I've lived with guilt and shackles for 12 years. So, my senior brother never blamed me. Zhao Shui covered her face and wept. I'm sorry. I misunderstood you for 12 years, and even helped Lin Chengjun harm you. I'm not a good person. I gently patted her shoulder. I didn't speak. Hatred, misunderstanding, guilt, at this moment finally vanished into thin air. The police soon released all the investigation results. The whole internet was in an uproar. Lin Chengjun was charged with false accusation, extortion, endangering public safety, plus his previous hit and run, bribing officials, and was sentenced for multiple crimes. He was sentenced to 18 years in prison. Lin's father was sentenced for aiding and abetting and tax evasion, bribery. He was sentenced to 15 years. The Lin group went completely bankrupt. All assets were seized and auctioned off to compensate the families of the victims from back then, and I took the initiative to approach the General Administration of Sport and disclose the full truth of Zhao Feng's accident to the public. The whole truth of the accident. I brought out the recording from the waterproof box, the accident report, and faced the camera. For the first time I was honest about my own hesitation and guilt back then. I am not a perfect hero. I once, due to a moment of hesitation, lost my closest brother. These 12 years, I have lived in self-reproach. I am making everything public, not to whitewash myself, but to seek atonement for Zhao Feng, and to give an answer to everyone who trusted me. I thought what awaited me would be accusations and scorn, but the comment section was drowned out by a different kind of voice. Brother Tao, you've already done very well. Everyone has moments of hesitation. Taking the initiative to reveal the truth is 10,000 times more noble than hiding it. We will always support you. You are the true king of diving. The General Administration of Sport, after careful investigation, gave their final conclusion. Zhao Feng's death was an accident. Chen Tao had fulfilled his rescue obligations at the time, and there was no negligence. Chen Tao took the initiative to disclose the truth, showed courage in taking responsibility, and has high moral character. All honors were restored. My professional diving certification and national team eligibility were reinstated. My hearing after treatment partially recovered. But I can no longer dive deeper than 30 meters. I completely retired from professional competitive diving, but I have no regrets. I have shed the shackles I carried for 12 years. I can finally travel light. After being discharged from the hospital, I turned down all commercial endorsements and high-paying invitations. I opened a place by the sea, the Brother Tao Diving Safety Training Camp. I don't charge high tuition fees. I specialize in teaching teenagers safe diving knowledge, telling them the meaning of diving is never about breaking records or chasing traffic, but about respecting nature and valuing life. Never, for the sake of fame and fortune, ignore the people around you and abandon the conscience in your heart. Suan became my main coach. Zhao Shui also joined in, responsible for the camp's safety training. He carried on his brother's dying wish and his passion for diving, passing them down together. I will continue to live stream but no longer teaching techniques, just sharing stories from underwater. Stories about Luofeng and the meaning of life. Just stories from underwater. Stories about Luofeng and the meaning of life. The netizens who once cursed me the most have become the most loyal fans of the training camp. Ordinary people who were once bullied by neighbors have come all this way to thank me, saying I help them vent their frustrations. Every so often, I take my students to the waters near Luofeng cave to hold a simple memorial ceremony to comfort Luofeng's soul in heaven. Brother, I haven't let you down, and I have kept my kindness intact. As for Lin Chongjun in prison, I visited him once. He was wearing a prison uniform, his head shaved, long since stripped of his former arrogance. When he saw me, he just bowed deeply and said, I lost. I lost completely. I didn't respond, just turned and left. Forgiveness is for God to decide. I am only responsible for making him pay for his evil deeds. As the sun sets, I stand by the sea, watching my students play freely in the water. Their laughter is crisp and clear, the sea breeze brushing against my cheeks, warm and gentle. I once fell from being admired by all into the abyss, framed and cyberbullied. My career destroyed. I once carried heavy secrets, living in darkness and guilt. I once had a brush with death underwater, teetering on the edge of the afterlife, but I never gave up on kindness, never abandoned my principles, never gave up my passion for diving. What doesn't kill me will only make me stronger. Now all of that is my strongest armor. Brother, I have finally become the person you hoped I would be, the guardian of this sea. This is the original intention of this biography. Past gains and losses, I have returned to a simple life. The ocean has witnessed my grievances and struggles, and it has also witnessed my rebirth. I have finally made peace with this sea and with my former self. Though my professional diving career has an end, my reverence for life and my commitment to kindness will remain. I will continue to guard this blue expanse for the rest of my life, facing the sea, with spring flowers blooming. Never forget why you started, and you will achieve your goals.